Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an inherently quite intimidating game, and a lot of that is built up off the reputation of the original. Much like the first game, this is as close as we can really expect to get to having a full medieval Europe simulator, albeit with a kind of fairy tale character arc as you go from being what is effectively a peasant to holding a fairly significant and influential position alongside those of noble blood. Your path is up to you in how you get there though, whether you play as a wholly honest and loyal subject or rob and steal your way through the world to amass wealth. But whatever your choice here, it's going to be a challenge. In our time with the game so far, we've got the game in for review already. We've spent 2 hours being killed by 3 bandits time and again because one of them was in plate armor. Despite being convinced that we almost had him and his 2 friends done for, in actual fact, we were barely damaging him at all with a pathetic little hunting sword. And these are just randomly occurring bandits as well, who just so happen to appear in the middle of a quest objective. They don't even have real names. So yeah, like we said, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is about as intimidating as its name is odd. The game puts you back into Henry's shoes, picking up after the events of the first game as he and Sir Hans Capon travel to deliver a message of peace and alliance to Trotsky Castle. Naturally, things go awry quite quickly, and you lose that written out message, your armour, your weapons, and all of the other men in Sir Hans's retinue. Without all of that fancy looking armour, you can't even get into the castle to see the Lord, and even if you could, you've not got that official looking letter anyway. Following a bit of a classic spoilt rich brat breakdown by Hans, you find yourself needing to get into contact with the Lord of Trotsky Castle all on your own, and he just so happens to have left said castle, disappearing off into the distance. You've got nothing but beggar's clothes to your name, and so you'll have a hard time getting pretty much anything done in this town that you find yourself in. But we were able to find a quick job at a blacksmith who also gave us somewhere to sleep so that you could save the game without having to drink your rare saviour schnapps. There's a bunch of things that you can do here, but obviously one of the highest priorities is to try and find Henry's lost dog, Mutt, and doing so pretty much inevitably leads Henry to tumbling through a comedy of errors. Firstly, we wandered around the area that Mutt was supposed to be in, and were torn to pieces by wolves in the pitch black of night. Then we did some things that eventually let you find out where Mutt actually is, and it turns out to be that he's probably with those said wolves, and we just didn't notice in amidst all of the ripping and tearing. 10 hours of game later, and we were able to get back to this place to face off against those wolves, better armoured, weaponed and skilled, only for that aforementioned trio of bandits to appear. And so yeah, once again we were stuck bashing away at plate armour that was practically impenetrable, and after 2 hours of those repeated deaths we once again gave up, left to go and get a nice big mace, and we are going to be soon using that to exact some sweet revenge. At this point we don't even have a horse to our name yet, unless of course we can count the one that we stole after seeing its owner get murdered by bandits. Obviously, we avenged that person's death and took this horse as a kind of post-mortem payment, but even the horse fence wanted more than 1,000 gold to make it so that the horse would come immediately to our spot whenever we called it and not be considered stolen. Horses apparently are very moralistic and anti-theft in this game. So instead we sold it for about 300 groschen and went back to walking everywhere for the time being. Thankfully, KCD2 is a very, very good looking game when it isn't nighttime and you can actually see things. Even facial expressions are particularly detailed, though much more so with Henry and other main characters. There are moments in this game where you could swear that the landscape that you're looking at is pretty much real, and is gorgeous enough that just strolling through nature is really quite pleasant, until the bandits attack, obviously. What you're seeing in this video is the game captured on PlayStation 5 Pro, which has got its own bespoke singular setting, but for the review most of our time is actually going to be spent on the base PlayStation 5, where you've got a fidelity mode at 30 FPS and what we've generally settled on, which is the 60 FPS targeting performance mode. Again, both look fantastic, though yeah, there's pop-in, there's all the usual things that you expect from a big open world game, but it still looks fantastic as we've just said. The fact that many of these eccentricities can't be found in other games just due to fear of narrowing its target audience is part of the attraction to this game. This is a grown-up experience that won't really sugarcoat your failures or streamline things to make it easier for you. It instead feels a lot like an immersive sim of medieval Europe, and if you're not going to take that on board and engage with that idea, then you're really going to struggle constantly. But if that is absolutely your jam and you can enjoy existing in a convincing rendition of the real historical world, then this is probably going to be one of the best games out there for you. There are still some minor quirks though that we hope are addressed with a patch in time for launch. KCD2 went gold in early December and we've been provided with this review build roughly a month before release, so there is plenty of time for a further polish update. The one that most affects the believability of the world is actually how inconsistently characters will react to you. They'll often vacillate between being generally friendly and just angry at your mere presence between interactions, or sometimes potentially even in the same conversation, and there can be some back and forth of repeating dialogue unnecessarily. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 seems like an uncompromising marvel. It's slavishly devoted to realism and accuracy in a way that could make it a very niche game, as working out how to do things can be difficult and requires real attention and care. Then again, that was part of the appeal and part of the success of the original game, which sold several million copies. If you take the time, it will reveal what is evident to fans of the first game. It is also incredibly rewarding. The first time that we finished a quest that involved combat without it feeling like too much of a trouble and slog, we punched the air in celebration, and when you finally reached the blacksmith, got a job, and forged yourself a new sword, we were grinning from ear to ear. This is a unique game that actually turns being a peasant in medieval times into an almost enjoyable experience. We've got a huge amount of this game still ahead of us, but we are really enjoying what we've seen so far. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is coming out on the 4th of February for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows PC. And we will naturally have our full review ready in time for that. So make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell icon, all of the usual YouTube things, and hopefully we will see you for that sometime soon. Goodbye!
Coming, eh? What now, fucker?
Shame on you.
Look out!
Mary, Mother, why are you lying here? Did something happen to you? Wake up! Come on!
Oh, fuck, that hurts.